All right, here's some good questions where they're asking you to balance a chemical reaction, and then they're having you take it one step further. So this first question says you've got ethane burning and oxygen, you get carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so you've got ethane, let me just check your balance in here. So 4 carbons, 12 hydrogens, 12 hydrogens. And you got 8 plus 6 is 14 oxygens, and you got 14 oxygens. So it's all balanced perfectly. So then the question says, how many moles of oxygen, I'm just going to put a question mark and a moles here, are required for every 2.07 moles of ethane. And so what you need to do is just take a look and say, well, I've got 2 moles of this, it requires 7. So if I have 2.07, then it's got to be just barely over 7, right? Because if you got 2 to 7, if you have 2 moles of this and it requires 7, so if you have just over that, it's got to require just over that. And so this is what I typically do. And what I'm going to use is a mole ratio. And so the 2 and the 7 that you've correctly balanced, I'm going to use that. So I have 2.07 moles, and I should have shown this in class, moles of C2H6 multiplied by, and then I do a mole ratio. And the mole ratio are these numbers here, the 2 and the 7. And I have to figure out which one goes on top and which one goes on the bottom. I want to cancel out the moles of ethane, so I'm going to put that one on the bottom. So 2 moles of ethane react with 7 moles of oxygen. So this can cancel with this, so I'm left with moles of oxygen, which is what the question is looking for. And now I just have to multiply that. So 2.07 times 7 divided by 2, it's going to be something just over 7. 7 point something. Let me fire up Desmos and I'll just figure that out. Desmos right there. So I'm going 2 times, no, what was it? 2.07. Okay, back. 2.07 times 7 divided by 2. Perfect. And so my answer is 7.245. 7.245. 7.245. Now in the question, they gave me 3 sig figs. So in my answer, I have to give 3. So it'll be 7.2, since this is bigger, I'll bump that up. 7.25 moles of oxygen. That's how many you're going to need to burn up that 2.07 moles of ethane. Let's try another one to it. Okay, I've got ammonia reacts with oxygen to give you nitrogen monoxide and water. Okay, so I need to balance it. Let me just check your balance. And you put a 4 there. So 4 nitrogens, 12 hydrogens, 12 hydrogens, yeah. And then 10 oxygens. Here I've got 4 plus another 6, 10 oxygen. Yeah, balanced, good. Let me just rewrite it here. So 4 ammonia plus 5 oxygen goes to 4 nitrogen monoxide and 6 waters. Okay, so similar thing. For every 4.34 moles of ammonia, so that's this 4.34 moles of ammonia that react, how many moles of oxygen are required? So similar question. So you write down what you're starting with, 4.34 moles of ammonia, and you multiply it by mole ratio. And really, some people say you multiply by what you want over what you've got. So you're wanting oxygen, so you put that on top here, 5 moles of oxygen, and what you've got is 4 moles of ammonia. You can think of it that way. I always think, well, I've got to cancel the moles of ammonia, so I have to make sure the moles of ammonia are on the bottom. Okay, so 4.34 times 5 divided by 4. I think you can do that. Okay, so that's a setup. I'll just do one more. Table sugar. So I got sucrose, and I'm burning that into carbon dioxide and water. So here's the balanced chemical reaction down at the bottom. I guess I better check on it. 12 carbons, 12 carbons, 22 hydrogens, 22 hydrogens. Now on this side I've got 24 plus 11, so that's 33 oxygens. Here I've got 11 already, so I need 22 more. Is that right? 24 plus 11, well, it's 35. It's 35, so I need 35. So there's 24 here and another 11. Yeah, that looks perfect. So they say how many moles of oxygen are required to react with 7.11 moles of sugar. So start with what you have, 7.11 moles of sugar times by mole ratio. I want to get rid of the sugar, so I'll put it up front, and there's no number up front. We assume it to be 1. So 1 mole of sugar, I should write the formula, but I was a bit lazy. And on the top I have 12 moles of oxygen. So the moles of sugar cancel, and now I just have to go 7.11 times 12. So that's going to be 84, maybe 85 something decimals. Okay, what's my number? All right, 7.1, whoops, 11 times 12 divided by 1. It's not going to change anything. 85.32. 85.32. Originally I've got 3 sig figs, so I've got to cut it down to 3, so it'd be 85.3 moles of, these are cancelled, moles of oxygen. Alright, hopefully that helps you with those types of questions. It's basically just using that mole ratio that you've determined when you balance a chemical reaction. You're using that to figure out another question. When we get into stoichiometry, we'll be doing lots and lots of that.